Mystic Royal Collective. How are you? Give me a few moments as I get things situated on this end. Hope you're doing well tonight. Okay. Here we go. Perfect. Welcome. Glad to have you. Just felt like coming on here, saying hi to Mystic Royal Collective, and just randomly seeing what energies I'm gonna pick up on right now, okay? I'm gonna use the classic Tabula Mundi tarot deck, and these two cards just kind of like randomly put off to the side, so I'm gonna put them off for a moment, okay? Oh, look at that. Wow. 10 of Wands, oppression in a reverse position. Look at that. So, let's continue. Weight of the world on the shoulders is kind of what just came to me. Even makes me think of it that way too. See that? Even though it's kind of like a upside down, but all this stuff, probably a lot of things have been bottled up on the inside. It could be a spiritual oppression of sorts as well, something to keep in mind. Let's take a look at these two cards that just pulled up, okay? Let's see what's going on here. Wow, whoa, look at this. I'm gonna show you this, check this out, collective. So, it's almost the same in a way, at least similar symbolism here. We have the 7 of Wands, Valor, in the reverse position. Again, more fiery energy here, okay? It is on the reverse position. What really caught my eye though is this right here. Notice how we were talking about everything within the inside of the self. Kind of like a spiritual oppression of sorts, and then we have the similar symbolism here, all these wands like at, you know, either in defensive position, some things working in defensive position for you, and some things working not really in the best of your alignment, or maybe at least has yet to fully integrate certain lessons, you know what I mean? Let's see what this other card here, ooh, Princess of Discs, Earth of Air, Earth of Earth. So fully grounded energy here. Intuitively, you know what you want, you know what keeps you grounded, you know what keeps you stable of mind, despite whatever inner turmoil or situations may be going on currently from within that's causing a burnout or instability of sorts, okay? Let's switch gears just for a moment, all right? And just go check the vibes up in here, okay? I'm gonna do the What's the Vibe deck, okay? And just kind of see what comes here, okay? If you haven't already, make sure you like, follow, comment, and subscribe for more action. Mystic Royal Collective. Boom, look at that. Blocked, moved on, nothing to say, stop calling. She's like, no way, look at that, boom. See that? You probably had to put a stop to a lot of potential hindrances and things that were causing delays in your path, perhaps. Said connections that you probably on an intuitive level to keep yourself more grounded, even though this is in the reverse, Princess of Discs, but you know, having the ability to be able to stop whatever parties that are trying to be in your way. Welcome everybody in the chat. So, despite this inner turmoil that's going on right here, see the symbolism here, all this wands, boom, 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 both in the reverse position, 7 and 10 of wands here, okay? Amidst seeking valor within the self and seeking ultimate self-realization of the self, which includes, hate to say, having to tackle those inner traumas and things that you've been kind of neglecting and putting off to the side. That's where at some point it becomes like a weight even on the chest, just like a even spiritual oppression is just what kept pulling to me earlier, that terminology there, with this being in the reverse, 10, the number of completion. But I think there's perhaps some certain moments of integration that you're still probably working through, or maybe in the midst of just discovering these kind of things. And it's kind of thrown the balance a little bit off kilter here with the Princess of Discs, okay? You've had to tell people sayonara and take it easy, you know what I'm saying? I mean, keep people at arm's length, the ones that are especially not in your highest of alignment, okay? Welcome to everybody here. Come on now in. I'm going to see if there's any other additional vibe cards, just kind of restart this sage cleansing here, okay? All right. Let's see if any other little final tidbits come in, and then we'll go from there, okay? Thank you so much, universe. Oh, what is this? Collective. All right. Narcissist. That. Egotistical, opportunist, fragile. So you probably had to, I don't feel this is the collective's energy themselves, but I think it's the type of energy that they had to block themselves or block against, you know what I mean? And kind of put these people at arm's length and say, hey, you know what? Enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what the bottom card is, and we'll keep it moving here. Two-faced. Sounds like a narcissist to me, or narcissistic tendencies anyways. Two-faced, double life, cheater, backstabber. Look at that. Oof, wow. Boom, boom. So I feel leaving a lot of toxicity and things behind you is definitely what's helping you to kind of work through some of these things and reconnect with yourself. Because sometimes when you're dealing with people that are all up in your business here, you know what I mean? Some people that may be two-faced or narcissists, whatever the case is, that are siphoning your energy now, okay? Those type of energies keep you from reconnecting with yourself. You see what I'm saying? They keep you from reconnecting with yourself. So it's up to you to uphold your healthy boundaries with others, to be able to say, hey, you know what I mean? Enough is enough. And let me kind of put a stop to certain things that are not really in my highest of alignment. You know what I mean? Okay, let's move it on to the... I think we'll, Cries of the Soul Oracle, I feel like pulling here, okay? This is a shadow work focused deck, and it could potentially shed light on some of this inner turmoil or things that may be going on right now that may not be a bad idea to potentially inquire, look into. Welcome to everybody in the chat. Glad to have you. Oh, what is this card here? It came right in time here. Okay, so right off the bat, it made me think of Ace of Spades. However, this is not a spade. Look at this here, the symbolism. It says, lack of self-love. Now, this mantra is to be able to integrate said shadow, perhaps someone that has a lack of self-love. So this mantra is to encourage whoever using this deck or hearing this message, say, I love myself for who I am today. See what I'm saying? And to me, with this symbolism of like spades like energy, speaking your truth, literally is synonymous with this spades in the cartomancy deck is that air energy, which is the swords, which is like cutting things off. Hence the blocking we were talking about earlier, cutting things off in people that are no longer aligned for the purpose of self-love. Because when, you know, you're kind of living for others and not living for yourself, that You know what I mean? It's time when you finally get an opportunity. And sometimes I feel there are certain soul karmic connections that are meant to happen that we chose. You know what I'm saying? But now, after some epiphany or realizations, now it's kind of like knowing what you deserve and stepping into your highest form of divinity, knowing that you are deserving of more and that you are worthy of more. You know what I mean? So tending to this lack of self-love shadow here, I love myself for who I am today. And mirror work, if you haven't already heard of that, or I encourage you to take a look at that. Essentially, it's kind of like mirror gazing. I think that's what it's called, actually. We're looking into a mirror just at yourself a few moments a day. And it's not like in a narcissistic way. It's more so like a self-love way. And the art of practicing gratitude, I feel it extends beyond physical things, you know what I mean? I think it also is like appreciation for the love and the life that we currently have right now, you know what I mean? And who we are and who we are becoming. So let's shift gears, and I will actually pull from the Cardamancy deck. Feel free to chat anything in the comment section. This is a general reading, so I'm not going to do like any specific questions, but I do like seeing the comments, so feel free to chat or just chill out. We're just kind of chilling, so either way, you are welcome here, Mystic Royal Collective. If you haven't already, make sure you follow, like, comment, and subscribe for more action. Mi amor. Love you. Okay. 4, stability. Right here, stability in the, excuse me, clubs is equivalent to wands energy, so we're getting even more wands. 4 is the number of completion, so completing a cycle is just what came to mind here. But here, 4 of wands specifically is controlling, keeping a gauge on your fire is what just came to mind. Not to burn yourself out, and to know what projects and things to pour your energy to, and what efforts or people or places or things, and what things to not, for the sake of your own stability, to keep yourself aligned. 6 of hearts, equivalent to cups, water energy, okay? 6, every time I see the number 6 or 8, I don't know, I always think of duality, because like for me, I feel that part of my mission here is just kind of like to normalize like healing of sorts, you know what I mean? Especially the ones that people tend to put off, like, you know, tending to the self. 6 of cups, pouring love into yourself, not only in the physical realm and tending to yourself physically and taking care of yourself, but also tending to your spiritual needs as well. Mind, body, and spirit. 3 and 3 makes 6. 6 as above, so below. That's kind of where I was going with that. For those that follow my channel, certain things that just kind of like become kind of like a lifestyle in a way, and you are full of love. Here, this was just what came out here, the Page of Cups, Page of Hearts here, Jack, I think, but someone that has the ability and they have the capacity, someone that has been through trials enough to get them where they are here in this place, entry in the palace, complete access and influence and freedom to kind of move around and go kind of wherever. Sow your oats, but hopefully you're doing it in a, you know, proper and responsible way is just what came to mind. And I think this is definitely pairing with this here, 6 of Cups, right? This is pairing with this and knowing that this is someone that has that power and control in their passions, passion, fiery energy, paired up with their emotional state of being able to control their emotions and put themselves in a state of like a magnet, becoming a magnet, you know what I mean? Exercising this charisma and even like seducing the universe. The term just came to mind, but to me, it's all about, especially with like, usually like in the tarot, or like masculine energies just like manifesting into the material world, while like the feminine energy is like tapped into the spiritual realm. And it's like the two come together in divine union to be able to, you know, be an abundant pool of manifestation. And I literally just, probably with my breath, but I just saw like the smoke just like whoosh. And to me, that was kind of like a rebirth and like a reawakening, coming from the shadows and coming from the smoke, which at one point had masked your presence. You know what I mean? I feel it's time for you to be seen. It's time for you to embrace the charisma and the love that you know that you have, the abundant love. Hello, Roxanne. I just saw in the chat. Thank you for being here. This ultimate charisma that you have, just locking that in and practicing that self-love, going back to here with this shadows here, you know what I mean? This is beautiful. It's kind of turning into a whole process of rebirth from like, I'm kind of seeing a full spectrum right here of like start to finish of someone that is been through the whole journey and cycle, learned the lessons, and perhaps has, you know, heard certain advice and certain things that other divine fractals, probably through divine guidance and trying to give you little nudges, but sometimes we're stubborn as divine souls and need to learn lessons the hard way sometimes. And that's kind of when certain lessons and mindsets kind of lock in, you know what I mean? Anything else here for the collective from the Cartomancy deck? What did I talk about in this collective? I'm telling you, look, see? This is the Ace of Wands here. The wands in the tarot is like usually like that one single wand, like the scepter, you like controlling your life. Having complete control, magician energy is just what came to mind. That paired with this, I think that's beautiful. So I'm gonna like circle back now to the tarot deck. I kind of did this on purpose. I did some tarot at the beginning as an opener, and you know, for those who've been here the whole time, thank you. And for those coming in, no worries. We got the 10 of Wands and the 7 of Wands in the reverse position here. And as well as kind of like accentuating the sense of lack of balance with the Queen of Discs in the reverse position. After we have now been discovering through this whole journey of card reading energies that we are diving in together as a collective, which is beautiful. I'm so glad to have you. You're beautiful, you're amazing. Someone that has blocked certain energies from having access into their life. Say, no way, narcissist, you're a narcissist, no way, back up. You two-faced, you're not being truthful, back up. You feel me? You know what I mean? So I feel this is someone that's finally in a state where they're allowing themselves to practice their fire and divinity and just like put their boundaries up for their own sake, you know? So to find the love within the self and not lose it, to be able to continue to sow their oats and shine your lights, collective, like this light here, shine your light. So wherever you are, you're just like radiating outwards, you know what I mean? Any closing messages here for the collective? Oh, just let that one slide off the top here. Kind of wanted to come out there and let's see, boom. 5 of Swords, defeat in the reverse position. 5 is the number of change. Yeah, it's all these connections that you've had to cut off. It's probably a lot of things at one time potentially, that understandably so, it's going to lead to some ruffled feathers, literally and figuratively as well, leading to this imbalance. But you're regaining your power though, so I mean, it's like a learning process, you know? Let's see what this says. Yeah, see? Baby. Oh gosh. This is, look, this is awesome. Look at that. I just said power. Look at that. Boom, baby. 4, stability, pentacles, power. Look at that. And you're fiercely protecting your stuff. Understandably so. Look at that. That's crazy. Crazy good. Full realization of the self gets you knowing your worth and knowing what you deserve and what you don't deserve, to be able to get yourself fully stabilized and finding your inner divinity and your power. Thank you at Black Goddess. Thank you for chiming in, saying hi, hello. Is it me you're looking for? I don't own the rights to the song. Oh. Glad to have you. Let's see. Boom. Let's see a few cards here for this reading. 7. Literally, just kind of funny with that pairing with that music. 7 of Swords, futility. You may feel the things that you've been doing, perhaps, are they doing anything beneficial in the background? Sometimes you may not see the fruits of your labors right away, but the guides, your angels, whatever you believe, your divine team that is working in your favor, despite sometimes feeling like everything is closing in around you with all these swords, people probably saying some things or trying to undermine your divinity or your authority, or not even having any belief in your abilities or your power. You know what I mean? They can say anything that they want, but it's futile. You know what I mean? And sometimes, realistically, in trying to ground yourself, sometimes you may feel that some of the things, like, is anything that I'm doing actually making a difference? Does it even matter or anything like that? You know what I mean? So, but this is probably a slight encouragement, you know, Mystic Warrior Collective, to keep on going, you know what I mean? Because now you've already kind of regained your power there. So your efforts are not futile. I think the efforts of the other people trying to send attacks your way is futile. Because the thing is that we're all connected, you know what I mean? So like anything they try to send your way, they're literally sending to themselves. So like, you know, what's the point? You know what I mean? And I feel that this energy that I'm reading for this collective here is pure and just trying to mind their own business, you feel me? So let's see what this other card that showed up. Boom! 8 of Cups, indolence. So it was in the reverse position here, Cups. Let's see, we did have the 6 of the Cartomancy deck. You probably feel kind of like dragged down at times, where your head down here shows like this ship here, but so many things circulating, probably a lot of like wounds and things from the emotional realm on the inside that's kind of literally weighing you down, and potentially, you know, if not tended to, could sink the ship. You know what I mean? So it's probably through your own healing and through your own work that you've been doing, you're gradually planking up and securing yourself in through your own self-care as well, because you are now pouring into yourself, you know? Let's see the bottom card. Queen of Discs. Wow, I think I just pulled this in another reading recently, but look at that. Queen of Disc in the upright position. Oh, hi, Kathy. Open up for adventure. Yeah, gotta stay, you know, sky's the limit, you know what I mean? Because your mindset creates your reality, collective. And right now, Queen of Discs. So right here, this is someone, to me, at least regarding this artwork and this symbolism, to me is kind of like astral traveler, someone that is divinely connected and in tune with the universe and planning every step logistically in the mental realm and the spiritual realm, which you know what I mean, Queen of Discs. And then we have here the Princess of Discs. And I'm trying to remember if the Princess and the Page are like about equivalents according to the regular tarot compared to the Tabula Mundi. But regardless, it's still that divine feminine energy of being tapped in, you know what I mean? And that's definitely important, you know what I mean? You see that? So it's only a matter of time that the things that probably when this time comes and your opportunity arises is when you're probably going to get that attention, and your guides, this is probably symbolic of your higher beings and your guides and angels, whatever you want to call it, getting your attention. Once things are in divine timing, then you end up turning around and be like, hey, look at everything I've done, you know what I mean? Because you're still pouring in your work, you're still pouring into yourself, you know what I mean? And by doing that, you are not only growing yourself as a soul, but you are also helping everybody else in the collective, you know what I mean? Whew, that was beautiful. I feel I'm gonna do another. I see more people trickling in. Thank you so much, y'all, for coming on in. I really love this one here. I'm gonna pull this deck here. Obsidian Veil Shadow Oracle, okay? Let's see, boom, look at that, sweet. So, not a sponsor, but they can sponsor me if they want to on these tarot decks and stuff like that, and oracle decks, but anyways, let's check this out, okay? All right. Universe, anything, last words for the collective here? If you haven't already, make sure you are following and subscribed to my channel. And also take a look, I have created a school community, because with having so many things that I like to do outside of tarot and not having to fight algorithms, join my school community for exclusive access and exclusive content for yours truly, Mystic. So link, it will be in the description. Check out the other videos though, which already have it in the description already, okay? And without further ado, just restarting that sage cleansing here. I have here Catherine de Medici. Forgive me if I said that wrong, but Catherine de Medici. Power can manifest in unexpected forms, even within the delicate vials of deadly secrets. Look at that. It's probably from these people that you've had to cut off. Deadly secrets is kind of what stood out to me. Vials. From having to overturn certain things, it's probably kind of burst open, probably through you searching for the truth, through a lot of cord cutting and a lot of spiritual reconfiguration of the self. Perhaps it did break a few beakers or vials along the way that were probably held behind a false sense of security, in a way, is what just came to mind. And what I mean by that is, like, perhaps in the moments of the self trying to regulate, in the moments of a certain like instance where something happened. Follow me for a moment, okay? It's almost as if like these certain safety defense mechanisms that the subconscious has created to kind of put certain things off to the side, which helped us in the moment. You know, we thought that, okay, maybe we're over XYZ and we're over this situation that happened. And then we realized that the things that we thought were guarding those inner secrets and inner wounds are actually a lot more fragile than you made yourself believe. I hope that makes sense in everything that I just said, but essentially that's when it said here, within the delicate vials of deadly secrets. So it's not only the secrets that you have discovered from cutting certain connections and kind of reconfiguring the people that you surround yourself around, but it's also from the secrets that you've been keeping from yourself. And I think that's really important for whoever is here or whoever needs to hear this message when this is published later, but about keeping secrets from yourself. Because when you keep secrets from yourself, or perhaps ignore certain gut feelings or certain obvious things that to you are obvious, it may be worth kind of taking a step back and resting, kind of like showing it here in the figure, resting to allow some clarity to come to you. Because I think right now there's this person here, understandably so, is doing a lot of outward searching, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that, but also balancing it with the dualistic nature of allowance, of allowing things to come back to you. With so much action that you're putting out here and fiery passions with the Ace of Wands, you have to also balance it out with allowing yourself to receive in certain moments. And that in and of itself is an act of self-love that it's important to not neglect. You know what I mean? Because neglect of self-love for yourself is neglect of love for the collective. That's is kind of like a crazy paradox, since we're all connected. You know what I mean? It's like those in your closest soul tribe, even if you haven't met them yet, they probably feel every shift and turn in your reality, even if you're not aware of it, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So, I'm here kind of packing things up on my end. That's right. I'm looking over here at the comments here. Glad to have all of you. You're beautiful. This card kind of shifted off the top, and let's just kind of, as I'm packing up, kind of take a look at this here. Medusa, behind the cursed gaze lies a story of strength. For even in stone, I am unbreakable. Look at that, baby. Look at that, unbreakable. This is about that confidence, and it's funny, this was, as I was putting it away, this is the top card that we pulled earlier that remained here, that Page of Cups, you know what I mean? That despite, you know, certain things that you have discovered to not be no longer in benefit to you, you have come out of things so much stronger than you have ever been in your entire life before. Becoming unbreakable and being able to withstand anything that comes your way. So good for you. But just remember, again, I think it's highlighting the sense of rest and allowing yourself to receive. And again, when I say receive, it's not like you're not doing anything, you're still doing stuff, but when you go beyond the capacity that you're able to actually still keep doing things, then it's just kind of like overdoing it, you know what I mean, at that point. And it's kind of like if you were putting more effort, but also like divinity exists outside and within you at the same time, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a balance of also trusting in your divine guidance externally outside of you to an extent, while you still are embodying and practicing your divinity daily. You know what I mean? Because we're all creators at heart, I feel, and we all definitely, I feel, in our own unique way, are creators and embodiments of source that are meant to illustrate and shine of light, granted at different varying levels of light and frequency, but all for a reason. You know, duality, everything exists for a reason. So anyways, I think I'm gonna leave it there, collective. Thank you so much for sticking around, and wishing you nothing but positive blessings and prosperity, abundance in all aspects, becoming absolutely limitless, unlocking your full creative potential to manifest and do anything that you want with your life. Because you are gods and goddesses. We are gods and goddesses alike, and or whatever you want to classify yourself as, a super being. You're beautiful nonetheless. And it's funny, again, as I was putting these up, yes, this card here is what showed up again. So just a reminder, okay? Pour love into yourself, and that your actions are they're not futile. This also card this came up too. It's the Swords in the reverse. Give yourself credit where you know it's due. Okay. All right. I love you, Mystic Roy Collective. Stay mystical. Check out my school community, por favor, as I am gradually transitioning to doing this full time. So, anyways, I love you. Ciao, mi amor, and we'll talk soon. So, ciao.